Welcome back to This Week in Louisiana Politics. You know, all week we've seen lots of legislation move through the Capitol, mostly committees, but we saw some of that legislation end up on the House floor, and some of that legislation even passed, so it needs to go over to the Senate and a few other places. One of those bills is House Bill 90, and it is authored by Representative Troy Hebert. He joins us now via Zoom. Troy, are you there?
I am. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you bet. So, first of all, this bill is interesting to me. I saw it and I was struck by the language in it because it says it has to do with restaurants and when you go to make a reservation. And there was a phrase in there, reservation fraud. So what does your bill do?
You know, I'm running a series of bills this session, but I would say this bill likely has gotten attention of many based on the titling of it. So essentially, what this bill is doing, you know, it was brought to me by the Louisiana Restaurant Association to deal with an issue that is happening primarily in most other states, and similar legislation had to be passed, but you're starting to see it creep into the New Orleans area. So they asked me to help them get ahead of this. So essentially what this bill does is you have reservation sites out there that have no written authorization to book reservations on behalf of the restaurant. However, they are using AI bots to grab online reservations. The restaurant believes that all these reservations are individuals that have booked up for the evening. And then they're taking those reservations that they reserved and putting it out on the open market for people to either bid or charge them to book a reservation at that restaurant. Now, the restaurant has no idea that this site is doing this on their behalf, nor does the restaurant know that this site is profiting. If you listen to what I said on the floor yesterday, these restaurant owners have built a brand. They have worked hard and tirelessly to build a brand so that they became a high demand restaurant. And essentially, this site is grabbing reservations without their authorization due to the success of their brand and selling it or bidding on it. Um, and we just don't think that that's right, and nor do restaurants. There are plenty sites out there, and I guess I'll use Open Table as an example, that they have written out contracts with the restaurant, so the restaurant knows that they're booking reservations on their behalf. In this case, we're not going to prevent that reservation site from operating that kind of a model. All we're saying is that if you're going to do that, then you have to have written authorization from the restaurant owner to do it on their behalf.
So I read some of your bill, and it appears that there are also some punitive measures built in there. So if someone's caught doing this, I believe the Attorney General can fine someone $1,000. But if this is AI and these are bots that are grabbing these, who would be fined in that instance?
The site owner. I mean, there is a site out there that is doing this, and look, I think it was during the Super Bowl, somewhere they booked a four-top reservation and someone paid a little over $2,100 for a four-top reservation. I think it was at Antoine's. Um, I believe it was Commander's Palace that may have spoken to the Restaurant Association. Someone said to them, "We had a wonderful evening. The meal was great, but we're not really sure why we had to pay what we had to pay to reserve a seat here in the restaurant." How people are finding those sites, I do not know, but it's linked to a company and it's linked to a site that uses this technology to grab the reservations, then sell them to a consumer, and then that site turn around and goes back and books it on that person's behalf. You know, another issue that I think could come up with this is, well, what if the site grabs 15 reservations? And what if they only fill 10? Well, that restaurant is planning for 5 additional reservations, and that staff for the night is planning for 5 additional reservations. So, what happens in that incident? I don't know if they can book all 15 that they grab. Um, but again, look, guy has these companies have a business model, and you can run any kind of business model you choose to do so. But if you're going to profit off of my brand, then I need to know about it, and I need to give you the okay to do it. And so that's all we're saying in this bill. Additionally to what the attorney general can do on fines and penalties, which is $1,000 per incident and per day. The attorney general could, if they want to, seek the reservation cost that the individual paid back as restitution to the individual that complained.
Yeah, it was a huge fee on the instance that you were talking about. Do you know if all of them are charging fees
No,
like
I
that?
think I think that was the Super Bowl was probably an outlier. However, I mean, it's a few $100s. I mean, someone could pay $200, $300, $400 for the reservation. But again, if it doesn't matter if it's $5. You're the restaurant has zero idea that you're booking these type of reservations. How many people landed on that site and said, "Wow, why do I have to pay to get into that restaurant?" I don't know, and didn't book a reservation.
And they
I
probably
mean,
didn't even question it.
they probably didn't question it either. But they tend to seek out restaurants, from what I'm understanding, that are high profile, that people are trying to get in, and they're profiting off the base that I can grab the reservations online, and I can either have someone bid for the reservation time frame, or I guess just charge a flat fee. Um, but I'm a business owner. I built that brand. That's my brand that you're profiting off of. So you should have my approval to do so. Every other restaurant reservation site that I'm aware of that they agree to do so, there's written contracts, written agreements. So that's all we're saying. Get your written agreement with the business owner. Get their agreements that you can do this on their behalf. And then after that, it's okay.
Where does your bill head now? We saw it pass out of the House earlier this
So
week.
I will bring it to Commerce on the Senate side. I'm not sure when that will be scheduled because I just cleared it off the House floor yesterday. But that's where I go next, on to the Senate.
All right, Representative Troy Hebert, we'll be keeping an eye on that bill as well, and we might be doing a follow-up with you. So I appreciate you coming on the show.
Listen, I appreciate you guys putting some attention on this bill, and thanks for having me.
You bet. All right, stay with us. We'll be right back.